This afternoon is very special moment for us because our institute has been heading to the data science using R, but Python is new to most of us. Professor Titus Chen used Python for scraping web information, but he hasn't given any courses yet. So this afternoon, the workshop on data journalism will be the first on the series of the data and the meaning mining as a kickoff workshop on Python. So I have to say that we probably none of us here are that into Python or have that experiences, except Professor Lin. So I don't think the 90 minutes will give us get into it. But I think that either following your steps, or we watch the demo, or we repeat watching the demo, and it will help us to grow. So let's give Professor Nickerman a big applause and welcome him to give the talk.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so probably there are some preparation and instruction.
Yeah. So first of all, welcome back, everyone. So this is very interesting and important moment for me as well. To use a new and innovative method to analyze the social data and gather textual data from. So, as Professor Luer just mentioned, this will be just an introduction about what can we do with Python as social scientists. So I refrain from using numerical data and statistics because there can be some disparity among us who haven't taken statistics course and so on. That's why we will just look at gathering news, scraping web, and understanding something. So today it will be just a small project to understand coming elections in Taiwan. There's elections coming, right? And what we will do, how to understand how these elections are portrayed in the Western news, in English language news, by using Python. It would have taken weeks for me to read all the articles and extract keywords and make analysis. And now we will do it in an hour by using Python. And we will just use some basics of programming by that. So if you guys can go to GitHub, and it is github.com/edbezci. If you can just go there, right? And you can click on the Python journalism repository. And then please click on it, and it's like the description is here. Please click on that.
So can we pause here? Everybody got the link. So I think that we have the link on the post. So if you have the questions, have to stop here. Otherwise, you don't have the material on your computer. But if you want to hear to see and the demo, that's definitely fine.
Yeah, and it is this one, as you see, right? This link over here. So otherwise, I would have used my own laptop to write the code myself, but there was a problem with the HDMI cable to connecting my laptop to the screen, so I will just show the Jupyter notebooks that I created and then walk with you with every step. This is the problem with sometimes technical problems happening with the things, but I'm lucky that I had the notebooks up. So first we can, I'm sitting because I need to be over here as well, I'm sorry for that. So first you can click on the setting the scene file, and you can see the extension of file is IPYNB. It is Interactive Python Network. The extension stands for that. So please click on that, and you will see it will render a notebook for you, right? This page. And here, I will briefly walk you through what is Python. Right. Python is a programming language. Python, this is a difference between R and Python. R is a domain-specific programming language. But with Python, you can create robots, you can create games, you can analyze data, you can do anything. And you can even create web applications and websites. And if you want, for instance, big companies like Instagram is using Python to maintain their code. So if you want to get a job in Instagram as a data scientist afterwards, learn some Python, please. So it will be a good career opportunity for you. Because not all of us will see in academia after graduate school, right?
You mentioned the learning paths.
Yeah.
How much time and how to make a social scientist.
Okay.
How the learning path. Probably in the end of a talk, you can mention that.
Okay, that would be great as well. It is in fact quite easy path. It is relatively easier because the script is closer to the natural language, closer to English language, so you can pick up from the script. It's very syntax relevant script that in Python we use.
Easier than R?
To be honest, easier than R. Yeah. For me, I don't know. There are so many brackets in R, like for E or another curly bracket, something expression, and here it's just you can do iteration. Just keep in mind there are two Python versions, Python 2 point something and 3 point something. Just please be sure that you have the Python 3 point something for this workshop. For your own time, you can use Python 2 versions. However, just keep in mind that that version will be absolute next year. And also for the data science purposes, for social sciences, that would be great if you can download Anaconda, because it comes with all the packages and interactive environment that we need. If you have done that, right now you have it in your computer, it's all good. It means that we are almost ready to go. If not, please visit this link over here and click on the download option, and it does it for you. So, as I mentioned, this workshop will introduce you to use Python for text analysis and news analysis. So our empirical case will focus on Taiwan elections and related subjects in recent English language news, like Reuters, New York Times, and so on. So we will use an application programming interface for that. It means the application programming interface means it's a data end that will feed us the data that we need. We can interact with that, right? It will bring us the data when we send a question to it in a machine-readable way. So it's really good for us. For that, we will use News API. There is a News API which brings all the news in so many languages that you need. You just send it to query, and it brings you the question that you are looking for. It's very interesting. So that's why please visit this link. Click on it. Oh, sorry. Just give me a second. Click on this link, open a new tab, and then get an API key. Just follow the steps here. It's very simple. It will create a secret token for you, like as if you have experience with using Twitter, analyzing Twitter data in R. It's the same process. You need the API key, a token, a secret key that you can interact with the data. So for our purposes, since it can come with different modules and extensions with different pricing schemes, this one we will use the free version. So we will be limited for last month's news, or just for the last month. But if you research, if you pay, you can get so many other things, like years worth of data in one single query. So you can get the key that you're looking for. In this page, everyone got this page? Yeah? Perfect. So after signing up for a developer account, you need to create and retrieve your key. So there will be a page like this, register for your API key, and you write your name, and you write your email address, choose a password. I'm an individual. You are not a robot, hopefully. Maybe you are, who knows. And then submit. And then you will get a key afterwards, like a number. right? All good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. And during the process of our workshop, we will need to install some packages which are not already installed to our computer, right? We can use it Python package indexing to use that, or you can use Conda, but Python package indexing is easier sometimes. Just however, be sure that the default version of Python in your computer is Python 3 point something, and you can use it. You can learn it by you can by the terminal, or just put an exclamation mark in an empty cell in Jupyter Notebook and just run this code. Python version, exclamation mark and Python version, right? And then it should give you something like since, for instance, for me, my default Python version in my Linux computer was 2 point something, so it gave me this. That's why, if it is like that, while you are installing packages, use the pip3 to point out it's Python 3 that you are using.
Good talk here. Did you feel more comfortable with the light bulb in the front?
Yeah,
Will be better? This way be better?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry to this.
Yeah, and if everyone got their key, secret token, right? You can just open a notebook in your computer in the working directory of the Jupyter Notebook that you opened, in whatever the folder that you are in. Just write the secret key and then copy your code in the quotation marks and save it as secret key. So you will have your secret key. Just open a notebook like a very small, like this notebook here. There is a notebook. There must be a notebook here. So Chinese, I don't see. Notebook, and then secret key .pi. You can save it like that. Secret key .pi. And then in the text of your notebook, just write secret, whatever it can easier for you to remember, equals to strings and so on.
So where are we going to save that?
In your working directory, wherever you open
anyone.
Yeah. In your working directory, where you open your Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
So and after doing that, if you are all done, just in the bottom of your if you want to co-follow with me, and it's all in the GitHub as well. So it's in the in our next step is defining the data that we need, right? So if everyone is ready, I can just upload it. So initially, since we are working with the NIRS API, we need to install a package for that, right? So we can do that. In the Jupyter Notebook, just put the exclamation mark and run this script. So it will install the required library. Like in R, if you have an experience, like you install library, install package in the same way, similar way. Just put the exclamation mark and then run this. It will help us to install the package. Or if you can access to your terminal, it is F4 in Linux, I don't know modes, so you can do it from there as well. So remember, we saved our secret key in somewhere, so we will need it soon. We saved our secret key in our working directory. We will need that soon. So keep in mind. And in the Jupyter Notebooks, as you see, you just watch out that on the top there will be a code or markdown or row. Just when you are running the code, be sure that it will be the code. It defined the cell is defined as a coding cell, and you can understand it. It should have something like this, like input in the beginning. If not, you can just change it over here. After you've done that, it means that we have an object, a new library called NewsApp established in our system, and from that we need a client that we will interact with the news. So from NewsApp, it's very like English, right? From something, from NewsApp, import NewsApp client. So from that module, they are importing an object that we will use, and it's a way that most of the module importing, like library importing, works in Python. So import something, or you can do from module import something, or from module import star asterisk. You can import all. But for our purpose, we will just import this. But if you are using the first module, just be sure that whenever you call that object that you are using second time, you need to call by the function name as well. So module.function name. But if you are using the second one, you can just call the function name by itself as well. Remember, we saved our secret key in our working directory as something, as a .py document. And we say like secret key equals to something. So I saved mine as like nws underscore token.py in my working directory, and I create a string object there to save. And as I told you, like you just say secret key equals to something, right? From news token, I import my key. So in my working environment now, the key is attached, a variable is available in the working directory. And now I'm calling an application programming interface right now to interact with the news client, NewsApp client. You can look at the documentation of it, and it's a good practice always to read the documentation. So I am checking the documentation to see what arguments that I can run with them. Oh, okay. It tells me what is that, what can I do with this person's, what are the top stories New York Times running right now? What are new articles published about the next iPhone, whatever. Has my company or product been mentioned or reviewed by any blogs recently? You can see all of it from this API. Or for political scientists, for us, anything you imagine. And it also runs in Chinese as well, by the way. Yeah, it's not only in English. Like there are 30 different languages.
Do you have a list of the newspaper available?
Newspaper languages, like hundreds, thousands. And then you can search by the date published, source name, which source, like Reuters, New York Times, whatever, language, and so on, right? So for the authentication, you can see how to authenticate your object, and you can use it. You can get the API key here, and then with the API key parameter. So if you are all good with that. By the way, if you are not, don't worry, it's all in GitHub. You can download and play around whenever you need. So
how do you check your working directory?
What are you using?
I just want to know.
It is where did you open your Jupyter notebook?
Jupyter.
No.
Where is it saved? From Anaconda. Yeah. Where's Anaconda saved? So it would be the Anaconda root.
Yeah, maybe exclamation mark PVW. But you are using Windows. I don't know how to do it in Windows.
PVW.
When you open the Jupyter notebook, there should be like a things, documents showing which directory it's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you see the path?
Yeah.
Or you can write like exclamation mark over there. but I don't know if it works in Windows. So yeah. After that, so we will now authenticate our object to interact with the query that we have. So it's called, like in the language, in the computer science language, since it's an object in Python, we are creating an instance of that object, right? And what was the parameter that we learned from here? API key. So we are using API key equals to key, because we imported our key here. But if you import it with something else, like if you name it secret key, you can equals to secret key, whatever. You can name it, you can name your thing that you can understand, you can remember easily. So, if it is working now, now we must be ready to send a query to understand what we are doing. So most of the things comes in a JSON format. It's a JavaScript object notation. And it is very close to Python dictionary. Python has object styles. The one of them is called dictionary. Dictionary works as like you have a key and you have a value, right? And you make the notation with the curly braces, right? So I created now a curly brace to save the objects that I will withdraw from the API. And I'm using iteration to do that. Iteration in computer science means you iterate over certain objects to automate the tasks. There are two main things. One is recursive functions, and the one is iterative functions. You iterate. You say, do this, go do that, and then do that, do that. It's iterate over certain objects. And so how I am doing it is that what I want to get is retrieve 100 articles in English languages that mentions, I'm getting everything about that. API dot get everything. If you wonder what methods associated with that, use API dot and then press tab, something will happen. It can tell you what are the methods that you need. But I need everything, like the date published, source, author, text, whatever. Right? And for that, first I created an empty art dictionary object. And then I am iterating over the range from 1 to 6. And it will go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there are 5 pages, and every page there will be 20 articles. It's in the documentation over here. It mentions us. And then I will update the article dictionary with the new data I'm finding. And it will go like this. Page number 1, and then something. And my query is that Taiwan and elections. It should have Taiwan and the elections all together in English language. And page 1, page 2, it will iterate for the iteration that I have. After you run that code, by the way, stop me, ask me questions, anything really like. It will create. It will create a nested dictionary structure. A dictionary with a list and a dictionary again that it is. So it's a nested structure. For a beginner, it will be a very complex data structure to deal with, but it will be useful that we understand. After doing that, you can just print articles and see like 100 articles and news and things. But for me, now I just want to have an example of what did I retrieve from it. I'm creating from the first page of that dictionary articles, first one, and it gives me this, the image of the news, the source, it comes from New York Times, title, China has lost Taiwan, it knows it, the web link, published date and time, author, content, say in Sunflower Motor 2014, blah, 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 and how many characters. Description of that news. It's now, I have 100 of it in my dictionary right now, saved. So very comprehensive data. But still it is complicated, right? Like to understand it like this for a human eye. And because we have 100 of it in 5 different pages. And also keep in mind that this application programming interface does not give you the full article. It only gives you the abstract. So after this, I need to create another object which I can, because it gives me the link, it will go, read that link and get that from me as well and save it on that article dictionary object. And there are some unnecessary ones, as you can see here. Like, I don't need the link for the image. I don't need author for now. And I just need some of the content that I need. So let me create a new object right now, a dictionary object. However, to do that, I need to write a function. In Python, there are functions, and with the writing a function, if you can get grasp that, you can go quite a way with that. You can go a lot. So, just a brief interview, the pause here, like the function works briefly like this. You write a def, like a define def, remember from that. Name of your function. Parenthesis, what are the arguments that that function have? A column. And now if you press enter, it will automatically indent it. And Python is an indented language. It will indent your things. And it's not like R in Unity to indent yourself. It automatically indents. And it's important. And then you write a return or yield. Yield, you don't need to worry about it right now from that, but you write return and return the result. And then to call your function name, you can call it like this, function name something. And then you can attach the variable. It's a very rich and powerful method. And then remember, we had all this data saved in a dictionary right now. We will write a small function and some other helping functions to grab the information that we need from that article. First, we need a little more libraries. From date2 parsers, we need to parse, and then datetime import to datetime, because remember, our date here doesn't look like anything that we understand. We need to make it understandable date. Like, I would prefer that. And make the time a date object. And so do that, we are writing a very small function, you see, to parse the function that we need. So, define reformat the date. I made it myself. You can name it anything you want. It takes an argument as a date, which is a string object. I write it here, what it does. New date parses the data and returns a new date in this format, like day and big month and then year. Like 13 August 1988, something like this. And then we need to check another helper function to prevent the duplicate articles, because sometimes there are some news agencies like Reuters and others like Bloomberg that provides news for all the newspapers, and this news and the other newspaper uses the source from that, so I don't need to duplicate, so I need to clean it. So that's why this will take a list of the dictionary that I have and a title is a string to check for duplication of the article. If it is duplicate, it will not take it if I already have that title. And it does it like this. I'm iterating through the database. Go for every item, and if this item's title equals to the new title that you are looking for, return true, and then don't take it. And don't take. If not, it's go. And for the next thing, so remember we need the full text of the articles because we don't have it, right? We will need two more very interesting packages. The one is requests, because it will go and request a link from the internet according to the link that it gives in the dataset. And the other one is called beautiful soup. It's like noodle soup. Nice, beautiful soup. Remember from that. Beautiful soup gives us very easy way the elements we need from a HTML page. So what I am needing the textual data. So it will help me to get all the texts from that. It can give you some other things if you want as well. Right? But for that, I'm writing another small function by controlling the error. This is a good convention as well in Python and in other computer languages. You try something, if it doesn't work, because you are going to internet, sometimes the server is blocked or it's denying you the permission. Then I can see the error and then fix the error and then keep on. And it's done like this. Go try, colon, some code, some expression, except if there's an error, catch the error, do something else. Now I'm writing the get the full text function to help me to extract the data. So this one will take the link and returns the full article form, right? And it's a convention that you need to also act like as if you're a computer because you're crawling the web. So you make up a user agent, whatever the browser you have, and the computer that you are using. And you can use like this kind of parsation anywhere in the web and copy and paste. And then you try, you get the page. And then headers means like you are using this. I am acting like a human computer. And then your soup is the beautiful soup object. You are getting page content and parsing the HTML that you have. And then getting the texts from it. In HTML, texts are usually in an element called P, like a paragraph. So I am finding all the paragraphs in that text article. Right? And null article is empty. Right? So I'm going through the text, like all this P, because it brings me a dictionary as well. Dictionary like object dictionary and nested dictionary. So I am iterating over it. It's a list, I'm sorry. It brings you a list. And I'm iterating over it and I'm creating this text object. And I'm having the whole article that I need. And I'm returning. If it doesn't work out like this, give me the error. What kind of error that you face. Now we have our helper options. And then we can create and retrieve the information that we want in a more readable way. So I'm creating a news data list here, and because I will add things inside now. And since article is a dictionary we created over here, remember, up on the top? Article is a dictionary. I'm getting all the keys of it, all the titles. Remember, like all the keys holding the value. And it's an iterable object. So I am going all of them. And I'm getting, and for within that keys, for every article within that range, check if it is not duplicate, if you don't have it already in here. Add to that list title, source, link, description, and full text of that article. And return it to me. So this code, with our helper codes, like I'm using the helper code here, right? Checking the duplicate. This is the function that I created, right? And then this is the date format that I'm reformatting the date. This is the function that I created. Go read that date format that it gives you, make it more readable way, and return it back to me. And then get the full text of every article for that URL. A link that you come across, and return me a new nice dictionary. And our function now is ready for operation. We created that. Now let's see how readable is that. Let's see the first item in our dataset. Oh, source Reuters, date 25 November 2019. It did what I am looking for. Link. It gives me the link. Title. Taiwan ruling party says China enemy of democracy after meddling allegations. Full text. All the full text. I got it now. I have like so many of them now. My data set is created. I'm ready. I'm just seeing the first article of it. Yeah. Now I want to save it as a comma separated value that you can use it in the other environments as well, right? So I'm importing the comma separated value CSV library. I'm opening a file, creating by doing this and naming it Taiwan dataset comma separated value, writing it as a file, and then there's a method of dictionary CSV. It's right from the dictionary, right? And it writes the headers and rows and all that. And now after doing this, after I run this, I should have a data set like this, saved in my working dictionary. This I screenshot from my own computer. So this it does, and if you do it, it should do it as well. Yeah. Any questions up until now?
Those scripts are actually can be copied and reused, or we have to learn the grammar and write by ourselves.
You can use it. Yeah, it's on GitHub. You can.
I mean, is that is a Python learned from this mimicking process?
Exactly. I guess like one of the things to learn a computer language for our purposes, we just need to try to mimic and learn, and then after a while we got the logic behind it. But for this one, just mention it uses my secret key, the ones over here. So just change. If you can use this code and any query that you want and create data sets. Just create your own secret key and then pass your secret key up to top. Right. Where is it? Here, it uses my secret token. Because if you run this in your computer, it will give an error. It should be, because it's looking for my secret key, it doesn't find it, because like there's no nearest token module. Just create your own secret key in a Python document and then run it. Then it will create a flawless data set for you. And I know it is, for anyone who is starting the Python, it's like, it can be a lot. But once you get the logic behind it, it takes very easy. Think about this. I created a data set of hundreds of 20 something rows right now, right? And it's just like a couple of lines of code. If I would go read and copy paste everything in an Excel, it would take like a day maybe, who knows? Finding all the news and things like this. This is very important that you can use. So next step, we got the data set now. Next step is to explore the data set. So creating the data set was one step, and now exploring. This is important. So what we have in the data set. So we might need some additional packages, libraries for that. Right? So NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, they are some of the things here. So we will read our data set into a Pandas data frame object. It's very easy, like in R, data frame like in R, and with some additional values that we have. So what we can do, we created, remember in the previous one, a data set called Taiwan dataset .csv. And then I'm also giving another argument to know it, okay, look at the date, and then understand it's a date object, right? And in Pandas, I'm importing Pandas as PD. They are just convention. You can just write anything. Import Pandas as a bear or whatever. But they have used conventions that to make our code readability easier. And then Taiwan news. I create a data set, and then I'm sorting it by the date now. And then let's see the first 5 items in our data set. Source Reuters, date for November 2019, link, title, full text, description. We have a nice data set now. If you can run it, you can see all of it in here, in this line. And then I want to see how many observations and columns in this data set. oh, there are 20 observations and 6 columns in this data. Nice. And from that, I can see. I want to see the sources. From which sources my data, my news are coming from. So, from Taiwan news, I created, remember, is a pandas data frame object. It has a method called value counts and sort index. I'm counting how many values there are. Right? And then the date. I'm creating the source and date object by doing it. And now let me plot this to see, have a visual. Which days I have more articles. So November 4th I have 1, November 22nd I have 4, and so on. And there are and I can plot it. And this is just easy. After I created the pandas data set, you just dot plot, like in R. And then you what kind of thing you want with the aesthetic values. And then you can write, you can create, what is that? You can create a pie chart, and then it automatically creates the percentage for you. And then 60% is from Reuters, 5% is from Telegram. University of Pennsylvania wrote something about that. Yahoo, Al Jazeera, interesting. Let's see though, like we have the data now, let's make a word cloud in our data set. And it's a very nice tool to explore what we have, right? And for that, it's, again we need to import some modules. One is called word cloud, and we need to import word cloud stop words, image color generator. And then we need to create another stop words that can be more useful. For that, we need all the articles in our dataset in a string object, in a text object without any breaks. Because it will go read all of them and create something for us. Again, I'm writing summing all the texts from the dataset. Some of the text, empty one, iterate over the data full texts. And whatever you find over there, add to our dataset and return some of the texts. And texts then, I'm attaching what I created with the function to a variable, another object, text equals to sum of that. And in natural language processing, we use stop words a lot. Because frequency in an English article of the words like I, and, of, the is a lot. They are the most frequent ones. So I need to remove them from the data set. Because they are meaningless, I'm sorry. I need to know like the important things that I need. Luckily, Python has set of stop words already. So I can create them. And also, since it is a newspaper, there would be a lot of said, told. Joseph Wu told that. Ingwen told this. And also, because Taiwan would appear a lot, I also have Taiwan, because it's about Taiwan, I'm removing that as well from the dataset. And Taiwanese, I'm removing that from the dataset too, because I want to see other things related to Taiwan, not Taiwan itself. Now I'm trying to visualize it with specific parameters, right? I'm using this stop word object that I created to remove from the dataset. And the word cloud object has these parameters. It takes the stop words, background color, whatever you want, and maximum number of the words. And color map, you can do it. There are like viridis, varieties, viridis or varieties, and plasma. There are some names you can check the things. What are the names for that? And then you generate that text. Now I am ready to plot it. These are the things appear in our dataset. Most frequent words. China, Beijing, Hong Kong. It means that when they are reporting about Taiwan elections, these are the common words that appear, right? It's quite interesting, but not interesting enough. I can mask it in a way that it would look like a Taiwanese map.
So can I just ask, when we import the text, is it taking all of the text from the website, from the news site, or just the article?
Article.
Okay, so it can select just the article, so you're not going to have
Advertisements.
Yeah.
No. Because all of them, to double check, you can go to the link that it gives you and right click and then, like just like this. If you right click on anything, I'm Chinese, there must be inspect.
Yeah.
Somewhere, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
And then with the inspect, you can, if there's something that happens, opens up and you can see where the text are, what's in the what's the tag at the beginning of the text. And usually it is a P. Paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah, you check.
Okay.
And now I'm trying to mask it in a more visually attractive way. So I'm importing NumPy as another very powerful data analysis, data science module. And I'm importing PIL, and it deals with the image processing. And I found online a nice map of Taiwan, and saved it in my working in a folder called images in my working directory. And now I am telling same data set that I created here. Go again, have the background white, but mask it with the map of Taiwan that I give you. After processing the image as a NumPy array, right? Like it needs to be machine readable way, so it creates an array out of the image pixels. And then it gives me this. How can I zoom out a little bit? Looks like Taiwanese map, I guess. So it masks the word cloud, what appears in about Taiwan elections in the map of Taiwan. Very interesting. And you can explore more. Ireland, Hong Kong, Beijing, elections, Kuomintang, government, Taipei, even though in the wrong place, I put there. In a more visually appealing way, you can use it in your presentations. And to use it in a presentation or something, you can save it into an image file. PNG is an image file originally. So since we have the cloud object already, it has a method, very easily a method called toFile. And you just write it, and it saves for you. So you can use it whenever you want. The next part is a little bit more tricky. Next part, we will not exploit, we will use a couple of algorithms to analyze the text data that we have. Right? So, as a social scientist, we are most interested in the essence of the information. We are trying to extract the information from in a data set. Either it is textual, language-based, or numeric data. It's our job. And then make a story out of it. And since there's abundance of data and whatever, we need to have a great way and an easy way to make sense of all of it, right? And one of them is called RAKE, Rapid Automated Keyword Extraction Algorithm. What it does is quite simple. It's very simple. I will walk you through what it does when we do it. But it just goes, look at the data, and gives us the most valuable keywords within that data set we need to look at. And if you are interested how it does, the research paper is here. They put it online. The authors. There are from Austin and the Northwest National Laboratory. There are 4 authors. And it's created in 2010, is our year. Even in their data set that they used, what is that, news to analyze what's there. So to do that, we, again, if we are working with a new Python notebook, we import Pandas again, SPD, and then now again we open our dataset as Pandas dataset, and do the same thing we did in the previous one. Create the function, we are defining a function and creating a text out of it and turning it to us. And then we need to install RAKE. It's already scientists made Python-friendly module out of it. So we installed Python RAKE. It's called pip install Python RAKE. If you run this in your terminal, you will install it. Now that we can import the data, and we can run and analyze it. So what it does, it takes a couple of parameters, this RAKE algorithm. Stop words, and then the word limitations, like how many characters that the word should have, and the phrase limitations, how many times this phrase must be appearing in that data set for us to understand. So it goes and splits the text into an array of words, like a tokenizing, like you are familiar with that, and then splits that into a sequence of continuous words. Because tokenization, for instance, deals with the house of a gammon. But tokenization takes like house of a gammon, it's simply to, but maybe it is more meaningful house of a gammon. So to understand how many times a word is appearing in that phrase, it needs to score it to make it whether it is meaningful or not. But by doing this, creating the array of the continuous words, it gives us the candidate keywords. And then it analyzes the score of that keywords. First, getting the degree of that word. So degree of that word means that how many times that word is appearing in a long key phrase. So a degree is that. So it favors if it appears more in a keyword, like the Taiwan election candidate. That if Taiwan is appearing more in the Taiwan election candidate phrase, it gives it more value, it favors them more. Right? And the frequency doesn't care. Frequency is just cares about how many times it's appearing. And the score is now, it's done by this degree over frequency. And then it gives us the scores. And then the score of a keyword, key phrase, is the sum of all these individual words appearing in that key phrase.
Is this for one individual article? Or
all of them.
All of them.
I created all of them with the sum of some text function here. Created all of them into one huge text object. In Python, text object is called a string object. Maybe it makes sense in and it says this method. You create this, it's an empty string. You define it by the quotation mark, and you add whenever you find another string to this one at the end. And what I'm trying to do is like find it and then have that keywords and their scores into a data frame so I can make sense out of it. First, and the RAKE has an inbuilt keyword as stop words, and it's from the Fox News. It goes to, they created that for you, so it is usable for our case here. And so my stop words are the inbuilt stop words of that. And then candidate keywords of that RAKE object, instance of RAKE object I'm creating. I'm running it with the method, the attribution. raw text that I created, all the texts of the articles. I'm creating the maximum number of words in the keyword. So how many words that keyword should have, right? And the minimum number of word appearance. And minimum number of characters in that word. So if there's 2 characters in that word, like off, don't take it. Take 3 and more. I'm saying good. I found these numbers, by the way, by trial and error, because knowing the data set. However, another way to do it, to use F-tests in statistics. You manually attach keywords to a portion of the text, and then run the RAKE algorithm for that portion, and then make an F-test of it. And then it should give you like which parameters are more suitable for your data set. This is the method that used for the people who created the algorithm as well. And so I also want top 20 of them. I don't want all the list of keywords. And usually the convention mentioned in the paper is like to take 1/3 of the keywords that you are looking for that to have a meaningful say, and the 20 is approximately is that. So I use that. So I'm telling to computer now, go have this textual file, find the candidate words, and give me the top 20 of them. So let's see, so top 5 of it, whether it makes sense, about Taiwan elections. First one, President, Chai Ing-wen. Number 2, Hong Kong listed company. What is that for? Who knows? Maybe, remember recently there was like a defector agent news in the news, remember? In Australia. And he was mentioning about the Hong Kong listed company. It gives me that. And it depicts Kuomintang as a China-friendly Kuomintang party in the news, in Reuters, New York Times, and so on. Number 4, Han Kuo-yu. Number 5, Golden Horse Awards, because there was a issue recently about that, right? Yeah. And there's a huge list of them in that, and we can just see the list. I can show you in a little bit when we are done. It's 20 words out of it, right? And it did quite a good job of telling me what are the keywords in the all articles depicted in that. I'm quite interested to know Kaohsiung, because this I wanted to ask, because this the computer does, and for a close observer of Taiwanese elections, there must be maybe other keywords that you would want to hear and things. But all the English readers are in America. They are reading about this, the most appearing news articles. Han Kuo-yu, Ing-wen, the other things. People like, oh, there was an election, Kaohsiung, DPP lost. There are no like detailed information like that. Very interesting. It reminded me that, because there's no mention about that. And I can save all this data set I created into another comma separated value, and then it's very easy. It creates. Remember, I created Panda data frame over here, and then that data frame is a method to try to save into comma separated value. So I created the Taiwan news keywords. So this is. It can be done like within an hour, going through tens of articles. Instead of reading it, you got the key information. And just I want to, in a new tab, show you all the things that it gave me. The President, Hong Kong Listed Company, China Friend, the Kuomintang Party, Han Kuo-yu, Sydney Morning Herald, because the defector talked to Sydney Morning Herald, right? And one thing always appearing, remaining diplomatic allies of Taiwan, because there are so little remained, right? Self-ruled Taiwan, and then Chinese Communist Party, Chinese asylum seekers, South China Sea, anti-government protests, China innovation investment, and there's an issue with the innovation investment here. Taiwan affairs appears in mainland, and it appears a lot because they make very bold things about nowadays. Communist Party, democratic process, Hong Kong, Kuomintang, and aircraft carrier. These are the top 20 keywords appearing in the English language news about Taiwan presidential elections over the last month. If I don't know so much about Taiwan politics, so reading them would give me a more or less idea what's going on.
Because you put all of the articles together in a single text, right? It means that although we have this really interesting information, it's very difficult to go back and see where these words were used, which sources they were used in.
We could have created that, to be honest.
Is it possible to run this the RAKE function without merging them together?
Yeah, it is possible. But the people who created the algorithm say that it works better when the text is longer.
Okay.
Yeah, but for your way it can be possible. You can create another column, and then it would be very interesting to do, because this appeared mostly in all of them, and then it can tell you which titles it appeared more. Or you can have or after having this keyword, go back to the texts in the raw text without merging them together. Check if this is in there. Tell me the name of the title or source, and then create another data set out of it, and iterate over the raw data set matching with this. Because you can, in Python, you can easily do a membership test. Membership, is this a member of that data set? If so, tell me the name of that source, and then you can have a better idea of it. But it's a good idea, it can be done. It would just a little bit tweak, iteration. In fact, let's take a breath, look at this, understand it. There is something more. And it just shows you how advanced Python has become now. It's called Spacey module of Python. It is breathtaking. You can do a lot of things with that. So for this data set, I took the same data set. I ran the text miner Spacey, and it showed me relationships, people, names. It gave me these are the people appearing in the text, and there's the relationship. These are the organizations, and this is how they are linked to the United States. And it's just the only piece of code. And it is, but it retrains all the data with the CNN news, and then it runs whatever the data set you have. Only the download, the pre-trained version is 1 gigabyte data. So it would exceed in a workshop, But it is quite interesting. So for me, I mentioned a couple of my friends, and they're in the business intelligence field, and they're like, you can do a lot of this. You can, for instance, if a company is asking, go to that country, I want to invest in that country, tell me the key relationships appearing within given data, and you can create a great visualization of that. So we are here, got the data set, saved it, and now it is for me, it's like a stepping stone for advanced knowledge extraction. Because as social scientists, our job is to extract knowledge and make a story. And in the digital age, I think our methods should change. We cannot keep on conventional methods of learning to data. I will give you a story. My PhD supervisor was an old English gentleman from Cambridge University, right? And I was in the US for a little training, and there were people from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and we were in a workshop. And during my PhD, some of the students were using these innovative techniques like that back in the days, like 2015 I'm talking about. Taking the photos from the archival documents and running them through algorithms and make a sense out of that. And I told this to my supervisor, and he was like, I don't think so. Science can be done like that. Really? Take some tea. Okay. I think this old way of doing it is not that applicable for a young generation of social scientists. We need to make use of other things that the other disciplines has already solved the problem. We need to learn and communicate with them. And so seeing this, for instance, I would like to show you, and this is a very advanced way of natural language processing. I will not show you how it uses like classes and class customization here, but it uses the SPACY module. It's like the industrial level, it says, natural language processing. I downloaded that, the pre-trained method, and customized the object given, and then created a dynamic graph of the relationship with the actors appearing in the data set. So let me focus a little more. Yeah. So the Democratic Progress Party, Han Kuo-yu is over there, Taiwan Affairs Council, and all their entangled relationship with the United States. I just took like a glimpse of GIF out of that. But what I did after running this, after retrieving this and customizing it for our data set, I just run the raw text data set that we created back up there. Remember, by retrieving all the data. I didn't do anything more than that. And it gave me all the visualization of the relationship going on. And I guess it can be a stepping stone for any aspiring social scientists who want to incorporate these new methods of analysis. And I guess like this department and this institute is a great place for that. You got so many courses combining all of it, and I really think it's a good opportunity for the students here.
So this is the relationship of the words within the text?
Actors.
Within the actors.
Look, remember, you cannot see it because my resolution was not great, but it says persons here.
Yeah.
And it gives you all the persons connected, and then location somewhere here, and then organization. And it creates, I didn't create the location, person, and organization. It creates location, person, organization according to pre-trained CNN data, and then gives all the relationship. Now location is here. And Joseph Wu is more close to the United States because he, I guess, the foreign minister, he deals more with the United States and stuff. And it was a very interesting thing for me to see.
Is that information based on the times?
Yeah, that every time it iterates through a,
by date?
Yeah. Because remember, we sorted according to date, and now it iterates through every single full text article sorted according to date. It was just I just learned this module like maybe 10-15 days before, so it was for me just playing through as well. I guess it's greatly customizable. One can do a lot with this kind of, because it gives you all the people, it extracts them, the people. Who are the people? You can, for instance, just extract who are the people and their relationship, who are the organizations and their relationship. Just remove the location, and then see. And this can be very useful for so many people in industry, in organizations, in academia, and so on. So I hope that it gave you a little brief information. What is Python? What can we do about that? I know it's a lot to take, and it's not easy to catch up. And most of the things in learning a new language is like you need to code. You need to sit at home and then code and learn and mistake. And most of the time, learning a new language is like you're on Google. You're on the Stack Overflow, like there's a website called that, and you try to learn and from there and read the documentation after the basics and learning this. For me, it took a while. I first enrolled a Python course back in 2017. Yeah, 2017. Yeah. And then I did a little bit, and then came back to it. I got books, tried to learn. One of the things that you can learn Python is like the online courses. And I can suggest MIT, OpenCourseWare. They have Introduction to Computer Science. I suggest 100%. It's really great. And if you're in this university, there's an amazing Python course from Professor Lin over there, and then he's great. Just enroll that course as well. You can learn a lot how to use. What else? One thing I can say, right now, most of the political analysis is moving towards that direction. It's called computational social sciences. It's moving there, and it is inevitable. And I think it is very important for any aspiring social scientist to do something interesting to get into this field. Because not always we will stay in academia. Even if we stay in academia to create a meaningful work, just take a look at the American Political Science Review. Like they use Python, and it's more like a computer science journal nowadays, right? Than anything else. And some others. For instance, in UK, there's Alan Turing Institute. I would suggest a couple of my colleagues went there, and they have like fellowships and workshops. I suggest you take a look at them. And most of the universities in America, like Stanford University, AI and Sustainability Lab, they combine all of these. MIT has, and in University of Chicago just hired an amazing professor, assistant professor, Rachel Tremor, her name I forgot, but she had a PhD from Berkeley, and now she uses and incorporates this data as well. And there's an amazing book called Bit by Bit, Princeton University or Yale University Press, 2018. I suggest you take a look at that if you want to see more on how to do it. And also, Inoue Kosuke, he wrote a quantitative social sciences book from Princeton. He's writing a new edition with Python. He used R previously. So he is writing a new edition. I don't know. But it is long, it is tiring, but it is rewarding process to learn a new programming language. And I think it is the time, we're in the right time to catch that train. I guess it can be late later on. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm here and we can discuss.
Oh, thank you so much for this. Well, this is quite a warm encouragement to all of us who are actually studying programming language, which is not trend by default. So most of us, some of us, half of us, are probably starting learning by ourselves or guidance by the teachers. But with clear guidance, like today, it's very exceptional. Usually we don't have that kind of instruction post online for us to just study at home. So I think that today's material is really very handy for us to continue to learn. So before we close the workshop, and I think this is some feedback from you, we have 5 minutes to Q&A for Professor
Everything is on GitHub, by the way. Please go play around, download. Yes.
How do you find the image package for another language?
Sorry?
If I want to analyze news which is not from English based, I mean, like for example, I would like to analyze the Indonesian news.
Yes.
So how do I find the language package?
So in this one you got the news API, and I'm sure they have so many languages. Maybe they have Indonesian as well. Let's see. We can just go news sources. We click on it, and there are the countries. Indonesia. What do you want? We click. We got Indonesia.
Do they have a list of newspapers?
Yeah. There's somewhere here. I don't know. You read that. I don't know. There must be somewhere here. I know the new sources. Like let's see it again. I guess it's by category. No, it's not.
So is it by this example code?
Yeah, it's by example code, but we have the sources somewhere in the documentation that I cannot find, right? But it is here. Like you just click on the country, right? Whatever the country you need. Taiwan. For instance, click, and it is somewhere here that you're gonna find the source of where they got the information from Taiwan. Right.
You know how obviously this website is really great, but how does Python work well with different languages? Like for example R. I was using that for making a keyword selection type thing, and for English it's literally 5 minutes you can do it, right?
Yeah.
But then when it comes to doing it in Chinese, it's a lot trickier.
Perfect. You can do it here.
Yeah, do you think Python's more universal in that respect?
Yeah, let's see. There is something called natural language tokenization toolkit, sorry, NLTK, and
for example, the stop words, right?
Yeah.
We were using the stop words from Fox, right? If there's someone who's gone through the effort to make stop words in traditional Chinese, for example.
So, you can check Spacey or NLTK. Let's see the documentation NLTK. This is how it works. I don't know. We just search NLTK item, and then so documentation is here, and then here you can find
So you personally, you've never had a problem switching between languages?
No. Here you can see like all of them. I've seen some weird languages here. And you can see other ones as well if I'm not wrong. Or just Google it. NLTK Chinese stuff. I cannot read the language, but you speak Chinese, so it must be some of them. Here, look, I guess this one, right? Stop words, blah blah. Tokens items, so maybe this one or that one. I don't know. But like, just search it, and if not this one, space it. If not this one, there must be one. Because I know, for instance, I'm Turkish, right? So for Turkish, they created the stop words for NLTK one. If nothing on NLTK, you can find them in Spacey. In Spacey, most likely you can find stop words or pre-trained data in Chinese. So it can be quite useful for you. One problem in R I come across is the core code reusability. So in R, I write a function, I write a code, and how can I reuse it easily without switching or like pasting it a markdown and copying it to another place. But in Python, I write a code, I can reuse it. Next time I can use something similar. I'm just changing the parameters and customization. And it saves me so much time. So this and it works with so many other languages. It's open source as well. So I suggest you. Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
About learning or self-training? How many of us is learning R? Using R for learning? Okay. What do you think about Python? Not yet.
We had one course where we did Python with Professor Liao.
Oh, the Q search? The Q search?
Yeah, no, that was the Kaohsiung City Council data. don't know. I think for most people, we just kind of gotten a little bit to grips with R, and then thinking to like start from scratch and moving on to Python. That is a lot because it takes time, right?
Yeah.
You need to be able to dedicate time. Right now, I'm starting to think that maybe the learning curve of Python is maybe a bit faster.
Yeah.
That R, you can go, but then it's kind of slower. But Python maybe the speed is a bit quicker. It's also about what people use, right? Because so much of it is open source, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you're just waiting for Windows to come out with the next update or something, right? The larger the community, the more resources you have. And so I think that's probably the bigger question. What is the community moving towards? If the community is moving towards Python, then you've got to move with it, or else you're going to end up with nothing, right? Or just outdated information.
Exactly.
Do you see that pattern shifting?
Yes, it is happening. I was just talking with another friend of mine. He's finishing his PhD in Sweden in chemistry, and he told me they were using C++, and now they are moving to Python.
Skip R.
No, for chemistry they didn't.
For chemistry,
they didn't use, but even them they were using the Python because it is scalability is a lot and open sourceness. The SPACY module, NLTK module, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and you can do deep learning in Python. I guess in R you can do deep learning too, but I'm not sure how. I don't know how to do it. Maybe, but in Python it is a lot more easier. So.
I read from an article comparing these two languages, written by mainland China scholars, saying that Python is for programmers who actually can speak programming language and then jump into data science. And so the entrance level is a bit higher for non-programmer. And for R is a kind of designed for statisticians. So the entrance level is easier, but it's not connected to train a person to become a programmer. So that his conclusion is that depends on what we want to do in our discipline.
Definitely.
But a lot of us actually very easily got lost from this mass media reports about the paradigm shift. So it's not easy for teachers. I mean, to keep this momentum of persuading which tool to use is best for beginners. Beginners will come with the impression that Python is the future. And I don't doubt it. Okay, but for when we as a teacher see them suffer because they are not born to be a programmer, we usually cannot hesitate to tell them why not begin with R, which is actually begin with R and switch to Python later. So this language, this version of saying is seldomly seen in web blogs or news media. How do you think?
I 100% agree because for simple linear regression, try to do it in Python as a beginner. But in R, LM,
GOM?
it's simple. It's one line. In Python, you need to import a module and then understand indexing, how to do it, iterate over something. So it is difficult.
So there must be a learning path behind. And you learn R as a beginner?
I learned R in grad school as a part of graduate training. Not in high advanced level though, because R is still I don't know some of the functions in R, and because R is like a domain-specific statistical language, so many packages and things. And then my mind works more closer to like a. It's just my personal type. It just works more closer to computers. And I can understand when I see iteration. I can understand recursive things, and it was. And when I was a child, my mom sent me to take. Yeah, remember Q Basic? Back in the remember yeah, back in the days. I was like 7, 8 years old, and she was like making me take Q Basic courses. Year like I don't know, like 25 years ago. So it was relatively the fundamental level was for me there. But even for my statistical analysis, if I need is in the first section we use k-means algorithm. In R, it's just a piece of code, right? We just clustered it. And in Python, it's not a piece of code. It is like you need to import scikit-learn and then do this, do that. It is you can have so much errors. So for me, I would suggest for political science, graduate political scientists, whatever works for your purpose. If you want to do hypothesis testing or use regression methods which are already built in, go use R. It is there. Learn R. Don't bother yourself with Python in that moment. But if you want to do some other things that you feel like it's very difficult in R, then switch to Python. But don't learn Python to do linear regression. Yeah, don't learn it. Go use R for it. Yeah. So it's for me. And the learning path, it's a programming language. It is I underline, it's a programming language. Lots of documentation can be alien to social scientists, when even reading. So it takes time. Learn whatever useful for you. Even Excel. If you can do something in Excel, learn that one. And then slowly build up and understand what is iteration, what is the basic thing behind that data structure. I don't know, things like that. Yeah.
Well, nice, very nice reflection on your learning experiences. What about Professor Lee? You have something to add?
No.
Comments?
Well, I myself.
Yeah, please.
Yes. So first of all, thanks for the chance of being here. It's really nice to hear a different talk from social science. I myself is from the applied mathematics department, and so I myself is starting from Python, technically. So in fact, I myself is doing a program called Sage, and it is like Sage is like a programming language that is specific for algebra. And then people say, okay, Python is fancy, right? And then I start moving a little bit from Sage to Python. But I myself, just a comment that afterward, all of them are tools. So of course it takes some time to understand and learn that. But say if you take one year the course of Python, then you will get understanding, get the feeling of that it is worthy in the future. So in brief, why not just take both? But it takes time, right? But anyway, graduate students have time. Yeah. So younger generation has more flexibility. Like I myself, if you ask me to switch to a new language, it is also, although I'm relatively young, but it is still hard for me. But I think if you are just starting, then just keep in mind that is just one tool, and then in the future, not just Python, there is another programming language called Julia that is coming up. So,
yeah,
right,
it's
just never ending. I myself think the R, based on my observation from an outsider, I think it has a great community from statistics and also for people who is doing text mining. So it will keep going on. But for Python, then it is a programming language. So if one day there is some new language coming up and people think it is more convenience and it is easier to be outdated compared to R. R is more specific. But of course, at this moment, I would say Python will go for 5 or 10 years without problem. And just an example, do you heard of you heard of Python 2 and Python 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone heard of Python 1?
No.
Right. So it's just like Julia. Julia nowadays people are thinking of that, and but people don't use that. And Python 1 is similar. So people can. It's hard to tell about the future, but anyway, I think in the future it's more like everyone, including the professors, have to keep learning, and I think the attitude of keep learning is more important than choosing the best language. Yeah, but I do believe that R specific for statistic and text mining, that things sounds like it will going on. That's my impression. Yeah, but thanks for having the chance of being here and interacting with you guys.
Thank you, Professor Lin, for this wonderful remark.
And taking his course, please.
Yeah, it's wonderful to know that we have a platform to interact with a different department using the same tool. By closing this workshop, I really want everybody to keep challenging ourselves, since you have more time than professors. And challenge yourself, enjoy this pen. And I think that there are role models here of the learning tools, and we keep learning and ready to abandon something while we learn, but we just keep learning. So we have to put the pressure on ourselves as teachers, and but I think there will be a lot of fun later on with pen. Right? No pen, no fun. Well, thank you again for this for attending this workshop, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
You want picture together? Yeah, together.